darn.
What?
This thing is driving me crazy.
So take a break. You've been studying all evening.
I can't. It's due tomorrow.
Why do you always leave things to the last minute?
I do not always leave things to the last minute.
Okay, almost always.
No. Sometimes I leave things to the last minute. You're only aware of sometimes. That's the problem.
Well, I always see the sometimes, but don't see most of the time. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Most of the time, I have no problem turning work in. Well before the deadline, you think I'm always late because that's the only time that you hear about it.
Uh-huh. So what's the problem this time?
God, my brain is totally fried. God, that's the problem. This stupid rhetoric class is impossible. Ugh. Sometimes I wish I'd just gotten my master's in education. At least it would have been easy.
You told me education classes are boring.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah. It's just, I have to come up with these original examples of, like, rhetorical devices. And I've never heard of some of them before. I mean, listen to some of these.
Okay. Fire away.
Apusia pieces.
Hassle of pieces? What's that?
Apusia pieces. Actually, that one is an easy one. It's when the writer leads up to a keyword but then stops so the reader can fill in the blank. Like, oh, she was a tarted up silicone injected. I was going for the B word, but yeah, that's okay. I've got that one covered. It's oh, here's another one. Budaligmia.
Buddha what?
Budaligmia. Like the litany of abuse. And I have an example for that one too. In fact, I've come up with original examples for all of them. I just...
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. So what's got you unglued?
Zeugma.
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 No problem.
You know what Zeugma is?
Sure, it's a Zeug's mother.
What?
Get it? A Zeug's mom.
No, it's awful. No, it has nothing to do with mother of Zeus.
So what is it?
It's well, it's the use of a word to modify or govern two or more words when it is appropriate to only one of them, or appropriate to each, but in a different way. As in, on his fishing trip, he caught 3 trout and a colt.
Oh, right, Zeugma, yeah.
I thought I had that one.
Great, so write down, let's go to bed, I can leave the
Oh,
rest
I
of these
can't.
tables.
It's not one.
What's not one?
This, listen. A blind man picked up his hammer and saw.
What's a blind man doing with a hammer?
No, it's an example of Zeugma. See, the saw could be like cutting wood, or it can be like a miracle, you know, as in like the blind man picked up the hammer and ta-da, you can see.
How does a hammer help him see?
Well, it doesn't. It's just a word. Saw can can be used like 2 different ways.
Pretty lousy example.
I know. Wait a minute. Hang on. What do you know about rhetoric? What do you know about Zeugma?
Just goofy. It's a goofy sentence. That's it.
Goofy.
I mean, how's a blind man gonna know that the hammer is there? Does he like trip on it?
I don't know.
What kind of person leaves a hammer lying around where there's a blind guy in the house anyway? I mean, oh yeah, can't see, gotta be really careful. Oh! A hammer!
No, maybe it wasn't on the floor.
Okay, fine, maybe it wasn't. What's the blind guy doing picking it up?
Well, maybe it's his hammer. Maybe he keeps it in a special place.
His hammer?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, he might be able to use it. You know, blind people can do all kinds of
So
things.
it's like making bird houses or something?
Maybe. You know, they have programs where disabled people make things, really. They raise money for charity.
Who's gonna buy a birdhouse made
I don't know. Maybe it's like art.
Art. Sure.
It could be abstract.
Won't look like a birdhouse, that's for sure.
I bet a blind person can make a birdhouse just fine. Just needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, and a lot of band-aids. See, got my hammer here. I'll pick goals and... Jesus! Oh, God, that hurts! Oh!
Okay, I didn't say it would be easy, but it could be done.
Fine, fine. Let's imagine that the blind guy actually has a hammer and can hit it without hurting himself.
Right.
How would he do that?
It could be, no. He'd use little taps, you know, like,
Okay,
you know where the hammer was.
got it. Like little tiny taps.
Yes.
Is that what he's going to do with the saw? Like little strokes? Shit, how long would it take to saw through something like that? It'd be like, what's that movie? Shawshank Redemption.
What?
That movie had that guy who played God in it. There's like black guy, freckles, he's been in a ton of
Will Smith.
movies.
Lawrence Fishburne.
No.
Corbin Blue?
No.
Eddie Murphy.
No, not him. Never mind. Never mind.
Wait, what's that guy in What Dreams May Come? That one.
It's not him.
Cuba Gooding Sr.
No, never mind. You know all of them but him.
Well, whatever. It's got to do with the blind guy.
Nothing.
Well, then why'd you bring it up?
Because the character in the movie, he took like 20 years to make a hole in his cell.
Oh, yeah, I remember. And he put a poster over the hole.
Yeah, and then after all that time, he escaped.
I still don't see what that has to do with the saw.
So I'm saying for a blind guy to saw using those little tiny movements, it would take like 20 years to saw through something.
Okay, so maybe the saw doesn't belong to the blind man.
But he picks it up.
Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Wait. You give me all these reasons why the blind guy has a hammer, but you don't care whether or not he has a saw?
Nope.
Saw is immaterial?
I don't know. It's the sentences. It really doesn't matter.
What sentence?
When we've been talking about a blind man picked up the hammer and saw.
That sentence.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Why not?
Because it's not a Zeugma.
It's not a Zeugma.
No, I thought it was, but it's not.
Well, why not? What's wrong with it?
I told you. Zeugma is when two or more parts of a sentence are joined together by a common verb.
And
There's no common verb, so there's no Zeugma.
picked up? Isn't that the verb?
No, it's being used the same way. The thing is, it's being read differently. The thing that's being read differently is saw, and that's a noun.
So, no Zeugma.
No. I'm sad because I thought it was.
I don't get it. You were sad? Aren't
No.
you taking this a little too seriously?
No, you don't understand. I didn't just come up with this sentence tonight. I've thought it was Zeugma for years. No, it's not as anal as it sounds. Okay. I first heard the sentence as a part of a game.
Game? Like something for Uber nerds?
No, Pictionary. You know, you played that one, right?
I played Pictionary.
Right. Well, it's sort of like that, you see. You take, everyone takes turns looking up a word in the dictionary, weird words, and then you read off a word and everyone writes down the made-up definitions for it, except for the person who found the word. They write down the real definition, and then you read them out loud, and then, you vote on which word sounds like the real definition.
And, okay, so...
Well, one weekend, a bunch of us went up north and played Pictionary, and one of the words was Zeugma. So after we found out what it meant, we tried making Zeugmas all night.
You tried making Zeugmas all night?
Yeah, it was fun.
Were you stoned?
Shit.
You were stoned!
No,
So
it
tell me about
wasn't.
this little Zeugma trip. I don't know this side of you.
There's nothing. I went up north with Jenny and some friends, and we wanted to go skiing, but it rained, so we stayed inside.
Got stoned.
And talked about Zeugmas.
Come on, admit it. When did this happen?
I don't know, it was back in my sophomore year or something.
Wow. Sarah the Stoner. This, I can't see it.
Excuse me, it was just one
You do
time.
any other drugs? Little coke maybe?
Alex, for God's sakes, of course not. Just drop it.
I don't know, Sarah. Sounds too wild for me. I mean, what did you do? Smoked a little weed and played word games? Wow, I talk about a walk on the wild side.
I really don't want to talk about
Okay,
this.
it's just kind of funny.
Well, I'm glad you're amused. Look, I'm tired, and I can't think of a Zeugma, so I'm going to bed.
What about your paper?
It will just have to be incomplete. I can't think of any more tonight.
Hey, I'm sorry. Okay, really.
Well, I'm going to take my books and my leave. Good night.
Cute. So take my books and my... Sarah! Sarah!